Welcome to Chaos Conjure, the podcast where we navigate the complexities of being pagan in an Appalachian mountains.
This is Jay.
This is Dottie.
Fill your sippy cups.
Put on your grippy socks. And grab your magic wands. Welcome to another episode of Chaos Conjure. What we do here is, y'all, it's been a long day. Let's start off. We have a guest, our first interview here on Chaos Conjure. Feel free to introduce yourself, that way we don't screw it up.
My name is Hollis Lewis. I'm a delegate representing the 57th District here in Kanawha County, South Charleston, Dunbar, and a little bit of Charleston.
Awesome. So how does the districts work?
Well, that's a good question. A couple years back, it was gerrymandered, they redistrict, so it's chopped up. I can't tell you necessarily rhyme or reason, but I'm in the 57th, so there's a Board of Office in the 55th, 56, so again, I can't tell you sort of the thought that went behind it.
You know, well, I want to slice in some pictures here of the map, because it does look like there's like a giant spike down in like the west end, like connects the west end with Clay County,
Exactly.
which is up towards where I am. I think, I don't know which that. Yeah, that. I don't know which one of those things I'm in. Districts.
Yeah, I don't know.
Definitely find out so you know who the representative are.
Yeah, right, finding out here just a little bit.
Right. That's gonna
And
be
those delegates, the delegate districts are different from the senatorial districts.
Yes.
Do they, I mean, it does feel like it's intentionally made difficult for the people.
I wouldn't say you're wrong. Yeah.
Okay, so we have questions.
All right.
I was always knew this was gonna happen.
First of all, thank you for coming on. Like, we
No
had
problem.
not planned, I don't think any of us had planned on this.
Yeah.
We are coming off of a protest. We were at the,
West Virginia State Capitol.
that's what it's called.
That is what it's called. That's what it's called. We were at technically two protests.
Wrapped into one.
They came into one.
That's a whole story.
We will share footage of that because some people took over the protest in a good way. Some people were handed microphones and probably should not have been.
Look, all I did was start look, the ACLU had pamphlets, the people needed to know their rights, so I handed out pamphlets, and then nobody was making any noise, because if somebody didn't start making noise, the crowd was gonna dissipate, and then suddenly we got a microphone and a bullhorn, and we're walking around the Capitol.
That's pretty much how it went. And then at the end, we met this nice gentleman, and he was brave enough to agree to join us. Thank you.
Which we didn't actually warn you what this podcast is. This is about being pagan in Appalachia.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're actually we're both
I'm not paying, by the way.
right.
No, we don't expect for you.
Yeah, no,
We are not.
Yeah.
But that's how that's kind of the premise of the podcast, is to be pagan in West Virginia, because we're kind of we're one of those invisible minorities.
Yes, underrated,
That's the word. Invisible minorities.
underestimated, underserved,
Underpaid.
underpaid. Groups of people.
Just had to say.
But what we're doing, what we are, one of our aims is to bring to light not just what the pagans in Appalachia are going through, but how we can fix the things that we are going through.
Right.
And one of the things that we can do to fix the things we're going through is to vote.
Right.
So if we know who our delegates are, our senators, our elected officials in general, then it makes it easier, regardless of what religion, any of that.
Yeah.
Regardless of where you stand, to go up to someone and say, hey, look, this is what's going on in my area. I need you to look into this, help me out or what have you.
Yeah.
So that's part of why we still are excited for you to be here.
Yeah, for sure. And as a delegate, as a state representative, we represent all people, we represent all West Virginians. And everybody, at least should have access to have their voice and their positions heard.
Right.
But the main thing that, I want to employ everybody is to get involved in the process.
Yes.
No matter where you're at, no matter
Right.
where you stand, we need all hands on deck.
Yes.
Considering, what's going on at the state level and also federal.
Wasn't me.
For sure.
And
And a lot of
pagan for amen. Sorry.
a lot of pagans, a lot of the ones when I had the store would come in and they would not some of them are scared to vote. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't
Some
know.
are scared to be in the store. I think
Right, they are scared to be in
we
the store
talked about
too.
this in the first
But
episode.
some people are scared to vote, some pagans are scared to vote because we don't feel seen.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of our,
There's been a big erosion
Yes.
between there's been a big erosion in the separation between church and
yes,
state.
that.
And it's something, that's part of why we're out there today in a
Right,
big
and to
way.
not know who is truly gonna be on our side regardless of how they feel and what they, you know, their worship beliefs or what have you. It's really hard to have that open communication with some people. A lot of pagans, we don't care what you do, how you do it, you know, as long as you're respectful. But sometimes it's really hard to walk up to someone and say, hey, you know, my name is Jacinta, you can call me Jay. I'm a pagan and you're my representative, let's talk.
Right.
Because we get looked at like
We're crazy.
exactly.
It does, it kind of looks like, because I've had this full conversation, which brings us to we Googled you on the way in, we took 5 minutes after, because we did not expect you to answer your phone. We did not expect you to, we figured you'd look us up and then decide, no.
So thanks, so again,
yeah, thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
How is it, all the committees that you're on, like the environmental committee, these are things.
Healthcare.
Yes,
Okay.
okay, wait, before we get into that part and talk about the wonderful things that he's actually able to do for everybody, what got you into politics?
I've always been interested since I was a kid in politics. I can remember Jesse Jackson running, President Clinton and all those sort of things. When I went to college, football, I was criminal justice major. So again, but on top of all that, I always had a mind and a heart to serve. I think that's the highest calling you can have, is to try to represent, underrepresented people of all walks of life and, get up there and just try to be a voice. We need a variety of voices at all levels of government.
Okay. So, since we've got that, let's talk about the committees that you're on.
Yeah. I'm on government organizations, and we have because they did the committee structures a little different, they changed it. So I'm on a government organization, and then our subcommittee is agriculture, tourism, and econ. And then I'm on healthcare, and the subcommittee I'm on is healthcare regulations.
What are you doing, because I know that they're trying to push through letting people just go to school unvaccinated because of religious status. How do you feel about that?
Again, the primary concern is safety. I respect
Right.
everybody's religion and what you want to do. That's fine with me. I have no
Right.
problem with that. But I think we have to, there has to be a balance, right? So we have to consider everybody's safety, but also respect everybody's particular religion. And we don't want religion to be used as, front for other, things.
Right.
But again, just my main concern is healthy. And I think we could also use more studies and making sure that we're, doing the right things as far as health is concerned.
So, do you think we should have vaccines or not?
I mean, all my kids are vaxxed. So, again, I think, I think it's worth more and more studies, as far as making sure that we're doing everything the same. But again, we don't want to spread infectious disease, things like polio and measles.
Yeah,
we don't want
that's
to
coming
start
back.
that again, right?
Right.
We know
And the
those
measles are
things
coming back.
Yeah.
So we know those things are pretty tried and true. We know we eliminated those things. So we don't want to do something that's going to cause more infectious diseases to spread. Particularly when, you look at things like PEI, and a lot of people have healthcare insurance and different things of that nature. So, we have to strike a balance.
So, one of the things that we noticed, because somebody came up, we were going to start reading off a bunch of terrible bills. Just terrible bills.
A lot to read.
It's overwhelming.
That young person had, I think they said it was like a page and a half.
Page and a half. They wanted me to get up and read that at around what is it going to happen? How do we keep from getting overwhelmed?
I think, again, I like, and the reason I stopped when I saw the rally, I like this energy. We got to have this energy, right? But this energy has to persist, not only when we're in session, but it has to when people are running for election and doing campaigns. Because you don't have to agree with somebody in totality, But if they are representing interests that align with your interests, we have to get them in office, because now, when we look at the state of West Virginia politics, we have 11 Democrats against 122 Republicans who are.
Oh, we're up to 11. Yeah, we're up to 11.
Well, 11 total, so that's.
Right, no, that's what we're saying.
We actually lost 3 seats. So we got 114 last year. So we're down. So we have to have this sort of energy, the energy that I saw out there in front of the company. We have to have that, going into 2026. We need people on the front lines. We need you volunteering for campaigns. We have to have a better coordinated effort to ensure not only that we have people that represent the things that you represent, but also we have a variety of voices within our state government.
Right, okay, so because I am a woman of color, how many people of color are representing our state?
Uno, those traits.
There's
3.
another one.
Yeah. So minority leader Sean Hornbuck, myself, and Delegate Mitchell Hamilton.
Okay.
And we also, and again, those are Black Americans.
Yes.
So I think Coop Gonzalez, he is a Republican. He's I believe Latino descent. I don't know if this.
Is that the gentleman that were earlier?
No, he's that's the Delegate Garcia.
Okay.
But I want to say he's from, I think, up your way somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where he's from. But as far as Black Americans, we have 3.
Realize how much I don't know. Like, we're going out to rallies because we're angry and we're people and we want to feel underrepresented and I'm not gonna edit that out. That's just how I speak.
Right.
And ADHD,
We do this often.
that's what we're tired, y'all. Like, I'm working with what I got to begin with, and it ain't much.
We protested today.
I
He
still
stood
got
up for our rights today.
I gotta appreciate that. I forgot what question was.
It's okay. We have these moments. We have these moments.
Oh, no, wait, okay, so we the people are overwhelmed and undereducated.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's a real issue, especially now we're going in. Where would people start to get themselves educated since we can't rely on the government?
That's actually a good question. I know you can follow the West Virginia House Democrats. We have a Facebook, Twitter, all those social media, so you can actually follow us there. I tell you, Delegate Kayla Young, she is a treasure trove
Yeah, take out.
of information, and she tries her best to be unbiased at times. Of course, she's Democrat, so she has her slant, but she does a good job of just disseminating information.
Yes.
I don't think I could trust somebody who didn't have an opinion at this point.
So I think you can definitely start there. And there's other, periodicals and different things, CNN, all the news channels. So you can kind of sort of take all that and put it together and,
So, are there any particular bills that you think we should know about because they took away the public hearings and things?
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely communicate with you. Again, it's just the beginning of the 3rd day of session, so I don't
Well,
know.
time to get involved.
Yeah. So again, I don't have everything on me. I know I do. My last I have some stuff, but I would just say stay involved because you'll find out. Like I said, you can go on to westvirginialegislator.com. You can find the bills that's coming there, and and again, while they have limited access to public hearings, you still have the right to listen in on committee. So you can. They don't have video, but you can listen in audio. So you still can follow everything there. So as bad bills come down, we'll definitely disseminate that. Similar to like House Resolution 33, where they want to rename Spruce Knob, Trump Mountain.
Right.
So
Jesus.
when we get those
That's what that was about. I was wondering what Trump Mountain, like, stop Trump Mountain, no Trump Mountain. I thought it was Mount Rushmore. Like, why do we care about Trump Mountain in West Virginia? Like, I don't want this space on Mount Everest either.
They legit took it to vote, didn't they?
No,
They wanted to.
They introduced it, and again, that's one of the things we caught. We put it out to the people, let people know, and people.
Are they
cross-state
not
now.
backtracking that now?
I think they will end up backtracking. I know a couple of the delegates who co-sponsored, they took their names off. So they
Yeah, I heard that.
So I don't think they're going.
God, I hope not. Something weird. It makes me up. I stop speaking because every time I think about how the hell does somebody fail upward so efficiently?
That's a great question. That's a great tagline.
Yeah.
That's an awesome tagline.
Feel free to use that. Feel free to. If somebody whispers in that, we gotta hold it.
You want to ask?
Okay, so with,
Would you like to ask us a question?
Oh, no, you can shoot.
okay, so my question is, going back to, your committees and subcommittees and things, one of them mentioned something about tourism.
Yeah.
Okay, so as odd as this sounds, the whole cryptid thing, Mothman and, what is her name?
Flatwoods Monster?
Yes.
She does Mothman, Flatwoods Monster, I don't know that she does. I do not know what the Flatwoods Monster's pronouns are.
Right, we'll figure that out.
There's also, there's the not deer, like, if you got in the woods at night, you know,
My
church
question,
man, no, you didn't.
right, look, you've heard that, you know that one, So with all of that going on, how would you introduce West Virginia? Let's say we dropped you out in the middle of Atlanta, and they say, where are you from? And you say, I'm from West Virginia. How would you introduce West Virginia?
Wow, that's a deep question. I think you
I've
just
had to answer this question, so
Yeah.
I know my
That's a
answer to
good
this
question.
question.
because my experience in West Virginia is a little bit probably non-like West Virginia. I'm from
Right.
here. But I think overall, if I had to do something, I'd say it's a state basically comprised totally in the Appalachian Mountains, and it's very scenic, very beautiful. The people are very nice, and I think that we are a state of a lot of potential. However, we do have a lot of work to do as far as making progress into the 21st century.
Mhm.
So I would try to be as political as I can.
I'm over here right.
But my experience, because again, when you talk about like Mothman, when you talk about, like far as, because I think you hit it on tourism, when you talk about like the dirt trails and the whitewater rafting and the mountains and all that. I've been to some of those places and that's lovely, but I'm from Charleston. My experience in West Virginia has been very much city. So I have like a different West Virginia experience as opposed to like, I've never been fishing and hunting and I've never camped. I don't have that experience.
I'm not a big hunter, but I do love fishing, get down on the river, and just
Yeah.
So I invite you and your family
catching a buzz and some rays.
to go fishing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's a place in Dunbar, at Monticello Park, you go hiking.
Never been
You
there.
can hike in State Forest, you can hike in, at Coonskin.
If you, Dottie was talking, if you need somebody to get there, tell people how beautiful our, because
Right.
wild and wonderful, just like our
women
wood.
to do that. Right, exactly. But yeah, okay. So without the politics, how would you describe West Virginia?
Without the politics.
Yeah, how are you gonna help
As best you
rally
can
people?
without getting in any trouble.
West Virginia is a place of a lot of potential. I think the way we're situated, being in close proximities to a bunch of mid-sized to large cities, we're 3, 4, 5, 6 hours away from probably about 10 cities, right? So we have a ton of potential. However, we have to have leadership that's going to tap into that. We have to have leadership that's going to take us forward, not move us backwards, and not play into the hands of our lowest common denominator.
Gotcha. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. That makes sense. I used to live in Atlanta and people would hear my accent and I'd have to explain to them where I'm from.
I did the West by God thing, went south,
And then I have to have the argument that it's West Virginia and not Virginia.
Yeah, I think we've all had that argument.
Right, and I'm not gonna only because you're here, I'm not gonna say what I would normally say.
Because, it involves a hand gesture.
Yes, we all know what the state of West Virginia looks like.
It looks like a hand gesture.
Yeah, there's only 2 states that look like hands, one of them's Mitt and the other one's us.
Pretty much. Or you can be polite and say it looks like a squash frog.
What's the mid state? What's that? You said mid?
Mitt, what's the one that looks like a Mitt?
Kind of, yeah.
Michigan?
Geography is not my strong point. I'm not gonna go there.
Not our state,
It's
that's
not our state.
okay, so,
Not a deer.
the other thing was agriculture. How big a part of our state does agriculture play?
It plays a big, huge part, and I think that it can play even bigger. With some of the, we're not as, again, we still are flushed with a lot of coal mines. I think we have like 100 coal mines, but it's not what it was. So we can, use that land. I mean, I think if, House Democrats, I know we introducing bills to legalize recreational cannabis. I think that we could definitely use that because a lot of our, the area of the state is desolate, there's nobody living there, so we can repurpose a lot of that unused land. So that's what I say, but West Virginia is just tap with potential. We just have to tap into it.
So-
Cannabis, all that.
I got a few kind of deep and important questions. The first one is that I know that the EPA has nearly fallen. What are we doing to protect our water?
Again, Evan Hansen, he's a Democrat, he's a environmental expert, and one of the things we're fighting for is clean drinking water.
Right.
So again, it's very pervasive, particularly in some of our hollers and some of our mountain areas where individuals just simply don't have a clean drink of water. I think, back in the days because of the cold slush running down the mountains and different things like that. So we're definitely, again, that's not my expertise, mine,
Right.
so I'll lean on him for that, but we are introducing legislation to try to help people obtain and maintain clean drinking water.
Cause I know we've had several ecological disasters regarding water.
Yes, there was one.
So flood this weekend, yesterday, right?
Well, not just even the flood, but like chemical spills.
Yep, in the canal, right?
Many times.
And Elk.
And Elk,
I grew up in Rand,
Right.
and one of our biggest fears was something happening at DuPont plant.
yeah.
It's called something different now, but it's still DuPont plant.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So if something happened at DuPont plant, or
Everyone
even at
else
the
would
salt,
die.
or even at the salt works.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're in between the DuPont plant and the salt works, so if something happens, we're stuck. And you can't get out. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
one of the things, like, you always we want to make West Virginia viable for business, and we want to not have so much bureaucracy and red tape, but we also have to maintain quality control standards when it comes to environmental issues. So we don't, sacrifice one thing for the other. We don't want to get people jobs and get people sick and they die of cancer.
Right, I
So we
think,
want to have a good balance to maintain.
I think there was a point, I'm not sure exactly how many it was, I think it was like between 7 and 10 chemical plants just in the Canal Valley alone.
Right, yeah, so lots of regulation here would not just affect West Virginia, affect everybody who's downriver from us, the whole the Ohio, Mississippi.
And I think that's one of the things we have to think about when we talk about, because I know that's Governor Morrissey had mentioned in the State of the State, talking about, cutting red tape and things like that. And again, we want to make sure that we can bring those jobs here, but we can't do it at the, sacrifice our people, dismiss of our people.
And our land, it's like, this is our home.
So,
Right, and if we don't stand up for it, nobody else is, which is
Why we're out here today.
all of us.
That's why our voices are
Our
going
city
out
today.
and we're still doing a podcast, and how you got roped in to Chaos Conjure.
Chaos Conjure.
Chaos Conjure. The other one, did we already talk about the separation of church and state? Like,
No, what's up with, how do you?
yeah,
I mean, I think our forefathers, you say that you will, obviously, we're Black Americans, so our experience in the country, as voices was a little different. But I think in their so to answer the question, when we talk about separation of church and state,
Yes.
our forefathers of this country, in their eternal wisdom, they understood that we need to have it needs to be separated for a whole host of reasons. And I think what our current politicians, particularly on the right, have perverted that, right? So they're trying to mix it in, but that was never the intent. The intent was to keep it separated. They knew to keep it separated for a reason, so we don't become, so government leaders don't become God-like figures.
Right,
certainly seems an issue.
Currently.
Yeah,
most definitely. Okay,
perpetually is what I was gonna say, but yes, currently as well.
okay, so I have another question, because we are people of color. I know that Black Policy Day is coming up.
Yeah.
And I know that last year the Crown Act did not pass.
Right.
Is it coming back before you guys this year?
It's going to come back, and unfortunately, I don't think it's going to go anywhere this year. Unfortunately, and I say that because everybody should have the right to, where their hair as it naturally grows.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that when we talk about a Black Policy Day, which is definitely a good thing, we don't want to be overtly performative. We have to make sure that any efforts that we are doing is going to be 365 days.
Yes.
Like I said, not just for Black policy, but anybody who cares about human beings at this point. Right? We have to work every day. We have to do the hard things.
Right. What was it? The good trouble.
Good trouble.
Good trouble to do hard things, and that's just not one day. That's not voting. That's actually getting out and doing the work. Because
Yeah, I have a poster that I prepared for Black Policy Day, and it says a movement, not a moment.
a movement, I don't know. That's
A
beautiful.
movement, not a moment. Feel free to use that.
Yeah, that's tough.
I'll even give you my sign.
Like, I know, especially, because I know this is your job, and you have to go in and do it. How do we maintain that momentum?
I think that's a good question. And I think that, we have to maintain the momentum by doing stuff like what y'all doing today, right? So y'all coming down and you're actually seeing like what's going on. Even things like as silly as it may be, but just us.
I gave everybody homework today. Track that bill.
We're talking about even like this whole Spruce Mountain thing, as silly as it may be, right? But just putting that out there and letting you know, like, look, this is what people who represent you are caring about. They're not caring about your utility bills, they're not caring about your clean water, they're not trying to get you jobs, they're not trying to get you health insurance. They're caring about things that don't matter to everyday West Virginia.
They're trying to line their pockets.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but just they're advocating for stuff that's not going to help you in the long run as a citizen. So I think that putting the pressure on, being a presence there, like there's nothing stopping you from going to committee meetings, nothing stopping you from walking the halls of the Capitol. They cannot stop you from doing that if you're just there to observe, learn, and figure out what's going on. So we have to keep the pressure. We have to make sure that we always have a presence, and begin the presence there, and then a presence on the street when it's not session time.
Okay. So with keeping the momentum, you just mentioned about walking through the Capitol and showing presence there. How do you feel about like the city council meetings and things like that? Are those good things that we should?
Definitely. I think those are things that you can definitely learn what's going on in your particular municipality. It's important because again, those are ordinance and different things that they're doing can affect you. So it's definitely, when I say that, I mean all levels of government. I'm not just talking about, what we're doing at the state level. I mean, city, county, federal, state, all that. Yeah, we have to be there. Because a lot of times, to your point, a lot of people don't know what's going on just because they don't, there's nobody like.
Well, and it does feel sometimes like it's being intentionally hidden. Like one of the things that somebody brought up at the rally today is that they kicked out the Associated Press from the White House.
And again, what's going on at that level is just, it's darn scary.
It's terrible.
An unelected official,
And we're supposed to ignore that.
just running wild.
Yes.
It's affecting our daily lives and are firing workers in droves,
Right, and they're trying to hire the nuclear, Jesus, they're trying to hire the nuclear physicist, workers, whatever they are, we're trying to hire them back. They're like, we're gonna be in the state, please.
It doesn't make sense. So we cannot, we as a people cannot sit and stand and just watch it. We have to get involved.
Right.
We get involved in a multitude of ways, but we have to get involved. We cannot, the days of us just, laissez-faire, just living our life, because now we're seeing these things are affecting our lives. When you're talking about hundreds of thousands of federal employees, particularly losing jobs. But where do they go? What other jobs do they get?
Right.
Where do they live at? A lot of these people are
And these
paycheck to
severance
paycheck.
payments, these severance packages that they're getting are.
If you ever got a severance package, it goes quick.
Yeah, some of them aren't even a quarter of what they, what they make, it's like usually like 2 months worth of.
So I've had to go groceries on my last paycheck. I'm gonna pretend like I haven't.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Even federal employees are making 6 figures. Some of those people are living paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
So what happens when that money dries up? So it's a cascading of problems that could potentially come. We can't sit and just let somebody just have carte blanche.
Right. And the only way to fix this is to start at the bottom and work our way up.
Our way totally up.
So, I don't know how much you can answer this question. What threat level are we at here in West Virginia?
I think, and again, not to sound hyperbolic, but I think, what happens at the federal and national level is obviously going to affect us. So I think, to me, it's bad. I mean, to me, it's bad. I mean, I know, I won't name the organization, but organization that does great, wonderful work to try to like help people.
Right.
You know, they're looking at closing their doors, right? Because they're losing the federal money and grants.
Yeah.
And we are a state that's, as far as West Virginia is concerned, we're heavily dependent on federal funds to fund not only grant projects, but a bunch of projects, you know, as far as within the state. So when we lose that funding actually goes and we're not getting anymore, then a lot of organizations are going to lose their doors. So that's going to mean people aren't going to receive services that they need, aren't going to receive help. People working even at state and city and local jobs can possibly lose their employment. And then what happens then? So I think it's just the beginning of it. It can potentially get bad if our Republican colleagues don't stand up to what's going on. They can't sit and watch their people just, lose themselves.
Okay, so do you think that the Republicans truly realize how bad it is?
I think they're starting to, whether they admit it or not. I think that
I don't think that they'll admit it out loud.
they probably won't admit it out loud, but I think the level of cronyism, you have to, even if you fall into that, like the cronyism thing, you have to start to look around. And I think at some point, your constituents will let you know.
Right.
Whether you realize it or not, if you're still blinded by the light, then your constituents at some point, hey, this ain't right. You need to turn the corner, or guess what? We're not voting for you next time.
Right.
So I think before too long they're going to realize, and I think some corrective action is going to be made. I know, and I forget, it just escapes me. Michelle Moore Capper told me she's advocating that, and I'll have to look it up, but she's advocating for something to not to get cut or just leave this alone.
Right.
I forget. I'm bad. I forget exactly what it is.
We'll take a look at it later.
Yeah.
We'll put a screenshot. If you remember, just text to me, we'll put it, because I'm not getting this put together tonight.
That's all right.
Okay, another question. So are there any elections that we should watch out for?
I think you have midterm election coming up, so you have the 2026 elections. So, and that's going to determine a lot of mayoral races. I think I know that in 2026, the House of Delegates is going to be up. I think some senatorial races are going to be up, some judicial races are going to be up. So 2026, 2028, but starting just with 2026, like I tell people, as Democrats in a place like West Virginia, we have to start running now.
Right, that's why I'm asking, so that I'll know.
And I can get you the specifics, but I know that, again, you're going to have, like, my race, House of Delegates is going to be up in 2026. And you'll have, like, Charleston Mayor, for example, that'll be in 2026. So these are, excuse me. So these are races that we have to start contemplating and thinking and getting involved in. And again, I want to tell people, like, to get involved in a political race, you don't have to be an expert at anything. You just have to be willing to help. So you could
Loud and annoying, we can put that to work. I got that space.
you could do call banking, so you can get your list and they can just give you a script and just read off the script. You can post signs, you can donate monetarily, and it's a whole host of things that you can do. And again, it's not about, I think Democrats sometimes we get too lost on who we like and who we don't like. This
Having
person,
the right qualifications.
this person supports me in totality. That person may not agree with you in totality, but they're going to support your interests. I'd rather have 90 than 0, or 80 than 0, or 75 than 0. You know what I mean? So we have to sort of band together. We don't have time to be, bickering about nonsensical things and not moving the needle.
Right.
Okay, so if there was one thing that you could tell some of the younger people coming up, maybe ones that have not yet voted but will be voting in the next election or two, what would you tell them?
Don't think about the now, think about your future, right? Because you may think about the now and that things may be funny, things may be amusing, but you have to sit and really contemplate how things are going to look in 5 and 6 and 10 years if things keep going on the trajectory that they're going. Look at what your parents are going through, look at what your community is going through. So you have to really think about the future. And I would also say, if you are somebody who is informed about, what's going on, get involved. And again, like I said, you don't have to have money, you don't have to have expertise, you literally have to be breathing body And that's
to
it.
show up.
And just show up. Like I said, even if you don't have time, you can like write postcards. Like you said, you can make 50 calls a week, send out some emails.
I think there was 5 calls a day is what we were telling you.
Yeah, 5 calls a day. You can do that for a political candidate that you support. And all elections are important. So whether you're talking about your school board race, whether you're talking about the mayoral, state reps, all that, you know, and the final thing I'll say is you have to think down ballot. Don't get transfixed on whoever the president is, right?
Right.
Because if you look at, like, for example, you look at Trump, and he's able to have this sort of carte blanche because there's Republicans control the House and the Senate. Well, if you look at races in Pennsylvania, look at races in Ohio, Montana, North Carolina, literally Democrats lost by 0.5%,
Right.
0.25%, like literally 0.25%,
Right.
0.0, so they literally lost by hundreds, thousands, hundreds, even like tens of votes.
Yeah.
Right? So, and again, it's important that if we would have had that, then you have some sort of balance. And the things maybe that's going on now wouldn't be happening.
Right.
We just had it, regardless of who the president is.
Right.
So.
Yeah, because we have somebody to block
We
that.
have some sort of law.
Isn't it like legislation brings things in, the Republican yays or nays them?
Yeah, something like that. Like, for example, the confirmation hearings. You know, they were all able to get through because, again, you had the majority of senator and House that are Republicans. If they were Democrats, then maybe some of those stopped.
Watching those make me sick.
Yeah, so.
Some of those hearings were, they were stomach turning.
Yeah, so focus on down ballot candidates. These are the ones who will be more closely aligned, and you'll feel the effects fast from what they do with them.
Anyway, we have more control over them as a people. Like, how many people do you represent? Do you like know the number?
Oh man, I know. I want to say, I know in this last election, probably about 10 or 15,000 people voted. So probably I would say anywhere up was 30, 40, maybe 50,000. No, I don't say 50,000. Probably anywhere. I would say about 30 to about 45,000 people.
Okay, so
Just in my district, but I
And
know
you said how many people voted?
again, that's another issue. Probably about 15, 16,000, something like that.
I would get 100 people.
Probably about 45,000. But again, if you look at West Virginia as a total, I think we had
That was a great turnout though.
like 29.
That was sarcasm, sorry. That was sarcasm, and sorry, I did pass sarcasm,
Yeah.
because, wow.
Because we're neuro crispy and we're extra crispy today.
Definitely. Yeah,
so-
that is,
Yeah, and there's like, because there's it's like a little bit of everything terrible on the Senate bill this turnaround. How many of those do you think are actually going to be something we have to potentially deal with?
I don't know. I would love to tell you, but I don't know. We'll see how it comes out. A lot of cars when looking at the state, you're talking about state side, right?
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. The federal thing, it's just an umbrella. It's this that I can't look at right now.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, so it just depends. Like I said, if we got some, it depends. So I hope not all of them. I know some stuff probably won't get through, unfortunately. Hopefully we can stop some.
so is there anything coming through the state pipeline that concerns you, like immensely? You don't necessarily have to say it's this particular bill or anything like that. I don't wanna, get you caught up in anything.
Yeah.
But is there anything that you're looking at that's coming down the line?
I mean, I think when you look at some like the regulatory issues as far as the industry is concerned, I think some of the things concerning,
Our regulations are written into law.
opioid epidemic, as far as treatment is concerned, some of the criminal justice bills. So it's like some of that stuff is concerned. We'll see how in depth it goes as we move through the sessions. So those are some of the things I'm sort of looking out for, I should say.
I know this is kind of strange. Maybe, what are you doing to preserve our rights, trans rights, disability rights? I mean, obviously, in a black race, there's going to be something important to you.
Well, all rights are
To
important.
all rights.
I mean, again, we're what we can do because we're at a super minority, right? So there's only so much we can do. We are passing legislation to, protect all those rights. But the biggest thing we can do at this point is to call out BS as we see it.
Right.
Right? There was some sort of I think something's coming down where, foster parents would have the right to not foster a kid if that kid was LGBTQ or something to that effect. Again, I'm not sure that it's specific.
Right, we'll have to look that up.
But it's like stuff like that, and again, as it actually comes down the pipeline, and again, this is just an idea at this point, but as it comes down, we're gonna call that stuff out. So that's the stuff we can do to call out to let people like you and let the public know in general, like these are the stuff that they're trying to do, right?
Right.
And again, just calling out stuff that's nonsensical, like the Trump Mountain type of thing, when we have sky-high utility rates, right? They just keep just going up.
Yes.
It was really
And the last-
last.
Last month, just in the last month, when we had all that snow and everything,
Yeah.
it was over.
Right,
Yeah.
so I mean, like the rates, like the usage is going up because of the cold.
Yeah.
Right,
People are hurting
but
right
the
now.
roads are also,
Yeah, what about the, cause I know a lot of people use LEAP and things, and that, like, it's strange that they're going after the safety net when the safety net already had such huge holes in it.
Yeah, I mean, even things like SNAP benefits, where they're trying to, attempted to change work requirements, and now you can't buy quote unquote candy or soda with SNAP. But the thing, and that kind of makes sense, right? Because you want
the healthier food, right?
However, what if you live in a food desert? What if you live in a place that
You only got the
there's
gas
no grocery,
station.
you only got the gas station and a dollar store, right?
Right.
Yeah, the Dollar General,
Yeah.
like Charleston, West Virginia is.
Yeah, the Dollar General, right?
Yeah.
So it's like,
Walgreens, which is.
again, we have to think through that and bring that to people awareness. Because and again, what's considered candy? A granola bar in some situations considered candy.
Because it
right?
has chocolate on it.
Because it's chocolate, it has a certain level of sugar. So it's like when you talk about things like that, when you talk about those safety nets, and again, and that's what I want to implore people to kind of go deeper, because some stuff, it sounds good on the surface, but once you actually start digging deeper, you can see how it really affects you.
Oh, I was mad about the, protecting people from, I forgot what it was that wrote in last time in because people voted it in. They voted in to make an amendment to the West Virginia Constitution about like death with dignity, but they worded it as they were
Protect them against euthanasia or something.
protecting people against
Oh, yeah.
assisted suicide.
Yes.
I was like,
Euthanasia.
yeah, like, and the way it was worded was intentionally gross.
That's a lot of it's always worried that way.
Right, lawyers be great. How much of this crap is being pushed out not to actually have any real effect, but to just be a smoke screen for a certain demographic?
Yeah, I think some of that's very true. I know, as far as on the Democrat side, we try to focus on issues that are actually going to help West Virginians. That's one of the things that we pride ourselves on. We try not to put out silly legislation that's going to be just for smokes and mirrors or just for shits and giggles. Right? We try to actually put out things that's going to affect the everyday lives and make people's lives better.
So we fix things.
Okay, question. With there being so few Democrats, how far out are they spread throughout the state? So,
What's the concentration? So that's actually a really good question.
yeah, because there's like, what, 55 counties?
55 counties. There's 100 delegate members. There's 30 senatorial members. So, as far as you have Democrats mainly, as far as representing the states from Kanawha County, from Cabot County, from Ohio County, from Montgomery County.
So they'll more heavily populated
The
ones.
more metro areas is where you're seeing Democrats at. So again, Kanawha County, Cabot County, Montgomery County, Ohio County.
Can we do a time check real quick and then,
Yeah, I have to go actually.
oh,
6:30.
all right, you know what, thank you for coming on.
No problem.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
it's
guys.
nice to meet you.
Guys.
Right,
But you got my number, so holla at me.
yeah,
If you don't mind, shoot me a message with like the information that you said you were gonna send.
Okay.
And
Remind me. You might have to look at the video again.
so, right, we're probably gonna go another 15, 20 minutes, so, because we got all this stuff I wanna press in front of the.
Okay. No doubt. It's good to meet you guys.
Yes,
Stay up.
thank you.
Do you know the way out?
Yeah.
Alright, we're gonna take a little break here. We'll take a little break.
Be right back after these messages. Maybe.
Hi, I'd like to take this moment to tell you about a group that I'm a part of, Metro Valley Pagan Pride. We're a group of like-minded individuals who are coming together to build a stronger community for us, pagans, specifically West Virginia pagans. So if you'd like to see more community programming that is centered around our faith and more events, then get a hold of us. Be a part of the community. And you can learn more at nvpaganpride.org. We are pagan. We are proud.
Okay, here we go. Okay, let's go down a little bit. Okay.
Just all them see my balls butt.
Oh, goodness.
All right, y'all check out my shirt. See?
All right. The wiggle on the floor. Okay.
Well-behaved women rarely make history. We like do the usually it's because they got executed for some bullshit, but we're not gonna have that conversation either. We can have that conversation.
Just so that you know, we are on the floor because we are decompressing. We are grounding ourselves.
I have fucking
We-
energy to sit up.
We did the damn thing today.
What the fuck happened? Can we talk about this? Can we
let's
talk about it?
let's tell them how it went down. We went to a protest. We actually were
We
planning
didn't go
on
to
2 hours
protest.
ago.
We went to Fairness Day.
Yes,
we
we
were
went
there
to
late.
Fairness Day.
We were there late.
Went to a protest that didn't actually happen when they said it was going to.
Because there was like 2 things running around.
Right,
It
2
was-
protests at the same time.
Wasn't even 2 protests. Here's
Or
the thing. Like,
2 flyers.
yeah,
2 flyers.
like there was like everybody be at the Capitol at
Right.
2. Everybody be at the Capitol at 2.
Right, so,
Y'all make up your damn minds, but
Right.
their memes, they spread like meme fire.
yes, so, I'm trying to find my glasses. So, okay, so, we got there at noon.
It was
Figured
like-
we would go and do,
There was like the circle. It was like, oh my god, though. It was like coffee hour. You know, coffee before church.
it was.
It was like
yes.
it was some older
It was like
people who
6 people.
yeah,
But the fact is, they were there and they were ready.
they were there and they were like confused as we
Yes,
were. Like, where the
because-
hell is everybody?
Right.
It's like I heard noon and I heard 2, and like, guess there was 2 things running around and nobody knows what the hell they were supposed to be there.
Right.
Like, well, we're gonna go check out Fairness.
Right.
They were wrapping up.
We went into the Capitol to do the Fairness West Virginia stuff, and people were already gone.
Yeah, like gone.
We did talk to the Fairness table. We talked to
ACLU.
no, it wasn't ACLU. It
They
was
were
a
upstairs.
face thing. It was a face.
No, it is ACLU.
that still
Yeah,
ACLU?
it's
Okay,
Justice and Jubilee, but they
Yes,
are
Justice
part
and
of
Jubilee.
ACLU.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. But yes, so we talked
yeah.
to them. Got some really cool stickers.
Yeah,
And
because that's where I got more of the Know Your Rights pamphlets.
got you.
Started the next grand adventure.
Yes. So we go back downstairs. I grab a couple of pens, and we go outside. And there's maybe 50 people outside at that particular point.
Yeah, standing at the edge of the steps.
Standing at the edge of the steps at the Capitol, like right on
Looking
the
out,
street.
looking out those street, like, okay, so there's like a grand sidewalk. It's one of the few places where we have a decent, like, width
Yes.
sidewalk, like an actual city outside, and then there's a few stairs, and then there's not George Washington, Abraham Lincoln,
statue.
like the other
So-
important president.
Right. So
And then
They're,
so they were all up there.
they were like by the Abraham Lincoln statue, and you'll see pictures. We have pictures and some video.
Yeah.
So
So we decided to sit down on the step.
So yeah, we decided to sit down on the step in front of Abraham Lincoln,
Right.
good seats.
It's like 12:45.
Was it about 12:45?
I think it was,
It was just before 1.
Because like about 1:20, I was getting antsy. I'm like, we got to crowd.
Right,
If we don't
so
start
we're
warming
sitting
these
out
bitches
there,
up. Let's just start passing out pamphlets. that
We
they have
started
here.
passing out
the note
we
cards.
passed note cards out for the so did you leave a message for your delegate or your senator? Or
I was like, it ain't my pen, it ain't your pen. Keep it moving.
right, that was so funny, and I
That
used that
was-
like several times. But we passed them out. Then we realized we might need to go pick them up. So we went around and picked them up.
Yeah.
Took
And then
them
she
inside.
took them all inside.
Yeah, I took all but one.
All but one.
All but one. And by this time, there's like 100 people outside. All but one go in. I come back outside. Kid you not, come back outside, and I'm like,
I was waiting for you too. I was like,
I get out there and I'm like, oh, hey, there she is. So we're sitting there, we're talking, and we're talking about this, and
Crowd's
Another
getting
friend of
antsy.
ours, yes, the crowd is getting antsy. So another friend of ours that took the last one in comes back outside, and so they're standing there with us. And I turn around because, you know, I'm trying to, you know, talk to people and network and stuff. And I turn back around and I'm like, where's Dottie? And about that time I hear Dottie yelling chants to the people. Show me what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like! Yeah, that.
Sorry.
And we did that.
Well, we started because it started out with the pamphlets. I'm like,
Right.
okay, everybody
Yeah.
got one of these ACLUs coming around with pamphlets.
Well, no, actually, even
I mean,
before the
it was-
ACLU
yeah, no, it
started
was
coming
before
around.
they came
This
out.
was right after we did the little note cards.
Right.
And so Dottie's trying to keep the crowd engaged because, you know, we
Just
know
starting to get
historically that if you don't engage the crowd, then the crowd's gonna leave.
Yeah, cold crowds walk off.
Right, so Dottie's got them talking, she's got them laughing. It's a good crowd, they're responding back.
Right.
We,
Should remember
Dottie,
What did I do?
started
Yelling.
crowd control. Well, actually not, well, yeah, crowd control, that's what we'll call it. She started interacting with the crowd, they started interacting back, they were responding, it was amazing. Next thing you know, Dottie and I are out in front of this crowd.
And
with
somebody handed
no
me like,
experience getting
like,
the
"Y'all
crowd
have
hyped
no-"
up.
and I was like, I straight up told them, like, I have no idea what I'm
Right.
doing. This is
Total-
not, like, we just,
Total honesty,
nobody
we have no
else
idea what
was
we're doing.
taking control. Nobody else
Right.
was standing up. We got all these people staring out, because
Just
the,
staring out,
staring
yelling
out
at
at
the
the
cars
traffic.
as the cars go by.
like, they're just
You know?
holding up signs for traffic, because there's nobody to rally around. I'm
Right.
like, okay.
And they're just yelling at the cars.
I'm
The
like,
cars are going by and they're beeping and they're honking and what have you,
Oh,
and yelling. And so, woo, yeah.
so I was like, we started warming up the crowd.
Right. So somewhere in there, Dottie's on one side, I'm on the other side.
Somebody
I
had
turn
a
around
bullhorn and a
and Dottie
lozenge.
has yes.
Just some,
I didn't get a lozenge.
some
So
lady
whoever
from-
gave her the lozenge,
my
I'm really
voice
jealous
was
'cause
starting
I
to
didn't get
crack. So this lady's like, here. And then then some old man comes up like, here. We still
And
got
she-
his
and-
bullhorn.
Right. So
Sir, just
Bullhorn.
contact us for your bullhorn.
right.
And
It,
well,
if you know what color it is, we're not going to say what color it is because
Right.
we need to make sure that it's yours. But yeah, somebody passes her this bullhorn.
I think
and-
somebody else shows up with a microphone.
Right, so she's
boom box
working the
and a
crowd.
microphone.
We're working the crowd, and just before 2:00, somebody shows up with a big ass speaker and a
Right.
microphone, a wireless.
Yeah, and you started interacting with them, and I'm still like, I'm just shouting at the crowd back and forth, like I'm walking back and
Yeah,
forth,
so
shouting. Like,
I take the
and, like,
mic
she's, like-
and I give it to Dottie, so she does a little bit of crowd stuff, and then she looks at me, she hands it back, and I'm sitting there like, oh no, you guys
so then
gave
somebody
me a
else
mic.
came up, and we
Why
just.
did y'all give me a
yeah.
microphone? I'm not the person to give.
She
you a
starts
microphone.
working the backstage,
So-
getting people lined up,
Right, so we've got people
and
showing up,
keeping
they're like,
people
"Can I say
in
something?
line.
Can I say
Like,
something?" So I'm like,
what are you
yeah,
planning
what are
on
you planning
saying?
on talking about? Because I didn't want it to turn religious. I
Yeah, we didn't want
it
a
to
fucking
turn,
Bible on our hands.
yeah, and I didn't want it to turn,
I don't
weirdly
mind
violent.
Christians, like,
It's not that we're against Christians, it's not that.
Right,
We
I
just
think
didn't
that
want
we
it
have
to
to
be
put
one
that
of
there.
those, we didn't want, there were pagans out there,
yeah.
and as pagans, we are already,
A little sensitive to the whole loss of separation between
Yes.
church and state. And I don't have a problem with you honoring your God unless you got a problem with me honoring mine.
right, and so, stay on the safe side, we don't want somebody up there just doing a whole sermon.
Right. We only
And
have
so-
one lady who got up there
And she was really nice,
right.
and she,
And
was
the
an
crowd was
evangelical, evangelical, see, this is why.
Evangelist, yeah,
She was an
evangelical.
evangelical Christian
Right.
and a former Republican.
Oh my God, did you see
And
the
a
lady
former
who got up there and she's like, I am so sick of all the brainwashing.
Yes.
I used to be an evangelical. And then
Yeah, that was her.
No, that was another one. There was
There
one
was
that was
two.
like a former, the
Yes.
former evangelical.
Yeah, because there was one that was a current one, it was a former, you're right.
Right.
But yeah, so while
Right.
Dottie's running back and forth with the megaphone, with the bullhorn,
We go for like an hour and a half.
and keeping people, with the chants and things, I have this mic, you guys. I have a mic in my hand, and I am playing MC, and I am like, hey, what are you going to talk about? You want to talk? Okay, hold on.
We had a fucking
And
system going.
We
fucking
did
ran
the
it.
thing.
We ran it.
We did the fucking thing.
We took the fuck over because nobody else was there. You know,
Right.
when nobody's coming,
So-
you're right fucking there, man.
Right.
That's what we do.
So we had a bunch of different groups that said that they were going to be there. People that said that were posting the flyers, all that sort of stuff.
I think we had a lot of people who were not prepared to actually be in front.
Right, and that's the thing. We had a lot of we were not prepared to be in the front, but
We
we
were
had
apparently
people
more prepared than they were because we fucking did it. Like, who the hell's in charge? I guess it's
Right.
us now.
But we had people
That's what
who,
happened. That's how it happened.
who
How the
posted
fuck did that happen?
and reposted and
We need the news.
seemed like it was something that they really were a part of.
Right.
And when
They
it
didn't
boiled
really
down
fucking
to it, they were not. And it's not to say that those organizations aren't good
Bad.
organizations or anything, because they are still good organizations. It's just, you know, if you're gonna put the flyer out there and make it seem like you are a part of this, that this is something that you are,
You know,
If
there's
not
something saying like the
organizing.
difference between organizing and not organizing, because this was distinctly, it was very of the people, for the people, by
right,
the people.
but if you are putting it out there that you are taking part in these things, do
Then-
something more than just live stream it.
Oh my god, yeah,
You
no,
know,
like, and
do
they
something
came up,
more than just live stream it.
they'd already handed us the mic and the bullhorn,
Right.
and they basically came up at, like, because of,
Like they came up and they spoke. Like a couple of people came up and we know that
We're
they
not
were in
naming
organizations.
I'm not naming
I don't
names.
know the people's names, so I can't name the names.
well, I don't know who the people were and what the organization is, and I'm a
right.
little pissed off about that. I ain't gonna lie, but I ain't gonna say shit either.
Right.
Either me.
But you know, some people showed up and they were like, "Hey, can I talk?" And then they talked, and you know, they said what they were going to say, and then they left.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They moved
Yeah.
on and handed me back to mine.
Yeah.
But these are people who made it seem like they were part of.
Right,
But
and
the
nobody was like,
protest-
hey,
But
we're
they
with
never
so-and-so.
said. They never said, "Hey, okay, my name is, and I'm with said organization."
We had
They
a lot of
just
people
came
who
up
were
and
like,
said yada 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 yada, and I say yada yada because I can't remember what everybody spoke about,
I don't
but
remember everybody spoke about. There was
It
a
was
lot of
good
people
stuff.
who would just stick
it was
up.
good stuff.
And like I say, I gotta
It
say
was good
that it was a little bit of an open mic moment. Like,
Yeah,
it was
definitely an open mic moment. Definitely
Because there were people who had never spoken before. There were people
Oh my
who had never been
gosh.
for. This was like so many people came up and were like, "Oh, this is my first protest."
yes, and
so
children.
Thank you for organizing this. What the fuck do you mean organize this?
Right, we had no organization in that at all. But yeah, people were coming up. It was definitely an open mic, definitely amateur
Amateur
open,
hours.
open
Right.
mic.
Like that happened. That fucking happened. That
And it
fucking happened.
and it was
fucking happened.
fucking amazing.
It was, and people were like,
Fucking
I got interviewed by the
And-
news.
Yes,
Mondo
yes,
saw
we were
that.
on
I'm
the
gonna have
news.
Mondo. We're gonna have to have Mondo on.
Yes,
We're gonna have to
yes.
have Mondo on.
But,
Now we're doing interviews, which we were not prepared for.
I did not do an interview.
We were packing up. We were decompressing. We were getting ready to go.
I did not do an interview.
And
the guy came over and he says, "Hey, you guys organized a really good protest." And I was like, "Yeah,
we didn't organize shit.
And he's like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, no." And he's like, "So you're not part of the people that organize it?" I was like, "I don't even know who they all organize it." He's like, "But you're up here." And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, we're
And
here.
they're not. Like flat out. I told him, I was like, "And they're not." He's like, "Well, do you want to talk?" No. No, I've been in
No,
different
I went over and I did the news the interview. I gotta find out what the fuck happened with that.
Right, but I was not.
And
but
then,
it was
and then
so-
some
it was
random
fun.
delegate came up and spoke.
hold on.
That happened. Yeah.
So-
not the guy who was on here, some other guy.
So we're standing out there. First of all, Delegate Lewis,
That's
Delegate
what-
Hollis Lewis is
Oh,
the one
that's
that we
what-
just interviewed.
Yes.
So
He
he's
showed
coming
up
down
as
the
we're
steps,
packing
and
things
I'm
away.
watching him come down the steps, and I'm like, okay, hopefully this is gonna be good. You know,
Talk
like
about how
please let this
crazy
be
he
good.
was.
Are we gonna do this on camera?
Sure,
We're
let
cutting
it fucking
that out.
I don't fucking care.
We'll cut that part out.
I won't.
But yeah, so
He
he
can
comes
represent
in.
me.
That part we're cutting out. So
Watch me leave it.
so anyway, so he's coming down and he's looking around and I'm like, oh crap, like this could go really bad possibly. And so I'm kind of peeping, you know,
If
like
he didn't have a gun
where's
as a badge, I wasn't concerned.
Right, but you know, it was the way he came downstairs. He came
Right.
he came down the steps with such purpose and determination. then it was kind of like, okay, because at this point, like, there's nobody out there. It's just a couple of people left.
Y'all, I was feeling
And-
feisty. He handed us his business cards. I'm like, are you actually gonna come in for an interview?
Right. So listen, so he comes down. We were right in front of his car.
Yeah,
And
like, I don't think
when
he was,
I
like,
noticed
like,
that he was like right in front of the car, I was like, oh shit. So I go over and I get closer and I was like, hey, I'm just gonna go ahead and apologize for setting signs up against your car. Because I did. I told you I did
Is that
that.
how that conversation started? Because I was straight up like, are you gonna come on this
Right.
podcast?
So he's like, oh no, it's okay.
He did
He's
it.
really cool about
He
it.
did it. I gotta give him
And
respect
so-
for that.
While I'm talking to him, he introduces me to someone else and says, please forgive me for not remembering your name.
It's been a long
I have
day.
your number in my phone and I'm gonna send you a text message here in a few minutes, I
Yeah.
promise.
I got a couple of numbers.
But he's a new delegate and he just literally, he's brand new out there. His very first session, and he was super nice, he's super, super kind. But you know, so we were standing there, we were all three talking, and so I'm like, look, I need contact information. I need
no, okay, so
cards.
we forgot something.
So-
We forgot a huge step. We forgot about the march.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, when the crowd,
We
because a big
marched-
chunk of the crowd left.
I say we, it was not me.
A chunk of the crowd left. And I'm like,
About
let's take a
75%.
walk.
Yeah, 75% of the people left.
I was like, okay, we're listening to the crowds. Let's make one big,
So
one
Donnie's
last
like,
thing.
hey,
Like, let's take a walk.
And so she's with the bullhorn yelling like, you know, hey, let's take a walk. And I'm on the mic
Like,
like,
you
hey,
all, I
let's
got
take
a bunch of people following me. You know they used to call me DINK, directionally paired navigationally challenged. I could have walked us into the fucking river.
And people would have followed her because they fucking followed her.
Oh my God, they fucking did. There was
And
no
she took
way to
them
look
all
at. I
around
got
the
all the way around the building.
So she gets around the Capitol and she turns and she gets to a point where I can't see her anymore. But I'm up front with the mic because I'm telling people to keep, you know, get going. And I'm trying to make sure that Gary, who was really nice, he's the one that brought the mic and the speaker, that he's getting his stuff. Because I felt a little responsible. And
I feel bad. I don't know who's.
So-
I still got the bullhorn.
we'll figure that out.
Okay, we're gonna
So-
leave that in the office so that if somebody comes
We,
in, I'm like,
Yeah.
we still got the bullhorn.
Well, actually, we'll take it to the next one, just in case.
Yeah, we'll
But
do that.
But yeah, so by the time he gets his equipment and everything, and he's, you know, getting ready to go, and I turn around and I look, and I'm there by myself. Like, it's me and a couple of other people, and Dottie has like probably about 100 people following her around the Capitol, and they are gone.
chanting around the building, and then
I
they
can hear
get back
them.
to the door. Then we
I
get
can
back
hear
to the
them,
step, and they
but
just
I can't-
dissolve.
But I can't see them. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
can hear them a little bit, but I can't see them. And so I'm like, oh crap! Like, I'm not moving from where I'm at because I'm not going to catch up with them. My only hope of catching them is go the opposite way, like meet them on the way back. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna stay here.
And that was today.
Yeah, and that was.
And that's how you got started. That I come up, she's having a conversation. Everyone's like, "Thank you for organizing this."
Yeah, and I'm like,
I'm like, "Hey, here's my card." I'm like, "Hi, Jeff.
Yeah,
Hi,
so-
how are
so
you?"
this is how we get
I'm
the cards.
knowing-
This is when we get to the point where everybody's gone.
Right.
There's like maybe 4 people outside now, and so Delegate Lewis comes down, and I'm like, crap, like I've been leaning shit against your card, my bad. And he's like, no, it's okay. I really think he probably looked at his card to make sure his card was okay.
I
But
don't blame him.
so I'm
Might be a
talking to
bunch
these
of-
delegates, and so I'm like, you know, I need information, like I need to be able to get in touch with you. And so they're like, yeah. So Delegate Lewis says, let me go grab my card out of the car. The other gentleman, he doesn't have one, so I have his number. Like I said, I'll be texting you in a minute. But
And I was
when
straight.
Delegate
He
Lewis
was like,
comes back, he's handing me his card, and Dottie's right there. So Dottie looks at his face, is like,
"Are you actually gonna come on this podcast? Or you just gonna
He's
give your
like-
card right away?"
right, he's like, she's like, well, you get the card for nothing. And so he's like, oh yeah. So we're
It's
like,
in mode.
we're like, really? And he's like, yeah. So we look at each other and we're like, we're doing the podcast as soon as we leave here. What's up? And he's like,
I gotta go do a class.
he's like, I gotta go teach a class real quick. Class gets out at 5. And I'm like, for real? He's like, yes, like we're calling at 5 o'clock. It was 5:15.
It was 5 because we went 8.
And
Yeah, it's like because
we
we weren't sure we were gonna call. Like, do we have the guts
Right.
to call? Like,
So I call. And I sent the text message and I was like, because I'm
bring on
persistent.
my phone. Like,
But I'm like, you know, I'm persistent. Let's get this done.
I have to delete some stuff here in a minute and keep
Yeah.
going. Okay,
And
this might be another 2
so-
hour fucking one.
We we interviewed a delegate. Our second podcast out,
Second
we
comment.
interviewed a delegate. That's pretty good.
That shit
We took
fucking happened,
We
man.
took over a protest, led a protest that we had nothing to do with.
No,
We went purely to protest.
we went there to be a part of the fucking crowd.
We went to protest, not lead the protest. Then we met 2 delegates, got contact information on 2 delegates, met some wonderful people we will be keeping in touch with.
Right?
We took over a protest.
Somebody brought
And we
Starbucks, and I was
We
not
could
about
not
to.
drink that.
I'm not about to
Thank
drink
you, though.
Starbucks. Like,
Thank
it's
you.
not like,
Thank
don't
you
think
for the
that-
thought.
yeah, I
Thank you
don't.
for the thought. But yeah, no.
Starbucks is in there with Chick-fil-A and Hobby Lobby.
Right.
I'm not partaking.
Sorry. But yeah, we took over a protest today. We led a protest.
I wouldn't even say we took over it. Nobody was doing shit. We just let it. Like, okay.
We led a protest today,
We
and we
led a
interviewed
protest.
a delegate.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like. So now we're laying on the floor because we're tired, we're exhausted, and
I think that's pretty much where we can wrap it up.
yeah, that's the end of this.
That's the whole story.
Because we need a nap.
That shit fucking happened.
That shit fucking happened.
It fucking happened.
It happened. We did the shit. We did the shit, Dottie.
What was it? What was the other one?
We're
Was it
activists
for the
now.
people, by the people.
I don't remember.
I don't remember what it was.
But Dottie, we're activists now.
You're a fucking activist now.
We're activists now. We're protesters. This is make us legit. And we're gonna be on the news, y'all.
We're already on
She
the
interviewed
news.
on the news.
We're
She
on
interviewed
the
with the
fucking
news.
news.
Right, she interviewed with the news, and I just kind of stayed to the side
Right.
because I have this country accent, and sometimes I
You
can't
were
be
running the
understood.
mic.
But yeah,
She was running the mic. She couldn't.
I was
She couldn't
busy.
step away because I had to step
I
away
was busy.
between. Like it was like, okay, I've got this much time, and they came up and they asked me. They're like, so what's your name? I'm like, I'm Dottie the Psychic, Dottie the Psychic. And they're like, okay, well, what's your last name? I was like, I'm Dorothy Burcham. It's my real last name, Dorothy
Right.
Burcham. And I'm doing this because I am scared.
absolutely.
We've all, they're like, what organization you're with was? Like, there's no fucking organization here.
Right.
There's nobody with any
And
organization
that's the thing.
here.
That's the thing.
This is born
The
of the random
ACLU,
people.
right? The ACLU showed up with flyers and information. So yeah, we called them out and was like, hey, the ACLU is here. If you want to join the ACLU, catch one of these people. You know what I'm saying? The other
No,
group,
they look like we did.
right.
They're like,
They were not prepared. They were not taking part in it.
yeah, they showed up to protest.
They showed up to see what it was. You know, they
Well,
showed up to see what it was.
Well, honestly, they were leaving Fairness Day and just happened
Yeah,
to
they were there for Fairness Day and just happened to come outside.
Yeah.
The other organizations that said that they were going to be there, the ones that put the flyers out and all that sort of stuff, y'all can kiss my ass right now. Like, I'm not trying to be funny. Real talk, y'all can kiss my ass right now. Because
I'm not gonna say shit.
I was looking for you guys. You know what I'm saying? And I sure would have called you guys out. And if I ever get the mic again, I'm going to ask you where you are. Because there has been people that are like, oh yeah, I'm with such and such a group and this, that, and the other. And
Where the fuck were
I've not met you guys yet. And I'm not saying that I'm somebody so important that
You know,
I need
it's
to meet
funny.
you guys.
You know,
But I've been at 4 protests. 4 protests. 4. That's all. 4. And not nary one of these protests have I seen some of the people that said that they were going to be there. Some of the people that said that they were going to, that they were sending out flyers and you know, sending all this information out for people to show up. I haven't seen you guys, and I'm not saying that I'm Billy Badass or anything.
All right,
like
now I will
that.
say this though, like,
But where are you?
because we got a Discord group, and the people who were in that Discord group that said they were going to be there,
They showed.
they showed.
They showed.
They were there, and they were there despite the fact that we're all talking about how we're a little agoraphobic right now. Agoraphobic. Yeah. Like, you know,
We don't like
none of us
people.
want to be outside. None of us want. We're all introverts. We don't want around people. But we showed.
And then they put the neurospices.
Yeah, that's what happened with the poor guy who was trying to read off that list of all the shit bills going on. I'm like,
Yeah.
honey, this is 3 pages. You are gonna lose the crowd.
Right, right.
I was like, there's a lot of bad bills.
Yeah.
Track that bill.
Right. Do your research. But yeah, if you come out with this with anything,
2 minutes.
do your research. Don't be afraid to speak up. If you are scared to speak up, grab somebody like us because we're not scared to speak up.
It's time to do your share of the work.
So,
If you want to
do your share of the work and we'll do our
Right.
share. Nap time.
That's right.
Nap time.
What's our tagline?
Do we have a tagline? I don't remember.
I bet that
I'm tired. Right. Let's go pet the dog.
I'll go pet the dog.
Let's go pet the dog.
Ugh.
This is Jay.
This is Dottie.
Thanks for watching Chaos Conjure,
Now empty out your sippy cup.
and pack away your wands.
Make it home before the moon rises.
And
watch out for the knot, dear.